All right, so this is a red-white Reanimator deck here on the back of Invoke Justice. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield, then distribute 4 1/1 counters among any number of creatures and vehicles that you control. So we have things like Unexpected Windfall, Seize the Spoils, and Cathartic Pyre to get this into the bin, and then we can bring it back with Invoke Justice. And Velomachus notably cast instants or sorceries with mana value less than or equal to its attack. So if you Invoke Justice to bring Velomachus back, it can actually cast Emeria's Call that it finds in those top 7 cards of our deck. So you can like invoke, get a 9/9, and then make it indestructible for a turn cycle and get 2 4/4s with it as well. So pretty powerful kind of 1-2 punch there. I'd seen a few variations of this deck running this Pastcaller in it. I'm interested to see if this card feels reasonable or if it's just kind of clunky and awkward. It is notable that this can like rebuy our Invoke Justices in addition to being an extra flying threat. And then we've got just a good smattering of interaction here at the bottom of our curve so we could try and survive the early game to get to our combo. So let's go ahead and pop on into some matches with this and see how this feels in Standard this morning. We need a cube draft to start the day, Mooiz. Nansen, thanks for the follow. Good morning. Not used to seeing Graveyard Recursion outside of black. What was the 7th edition mono white reanimate card, chat? Someone hit me up with that card name. I remember playing it in my youth. It was just like 3 and a white. Put a creature from a discard pile into play. Late for dinner? No, that's the Zoomer version of the card I'm talking about. I want the boomer card of my childhood, chat. I'm so old, I had quit Magic for the first time before 7th edition. God bless.
We must stop the knights from invoking the days. Whose company?
Patches, thanks for the 25 months. Welcome back.
Run away. You can keep watch for intruders. Strike fast and strike hard.
Breath of Life, that's the one. Reaganomic, nailed it.
Retreat into the night.
I'm just chilling here. It's gonna let them flip to nighttime, but don't care if my Planeswalker gets hit here, I don't think.
I'm not impressed.
Surge Hacker, Mac. I'm gonna do this in response, because if we hit an Abrade, we can kill the Surge Hacker, leaving our Planeswalker alive.
I'll be back.
This is a little aggro, but they're playing a red-green deck, so I think it's kind of appropriately aggro. They should have a hard time dealing with a 7/7. I, thick samurai. Surge Hacker and Wolves. Surge Hacker and Wolves. Board in and Abrade. Seismic Wave doesn't seem very good. They had a lot of things that cost 4+ there. Let's try this. Ankiki's great. 2 different Abrades. Chat, that's a tactical different artwork Abrade, because this way we know when we drew our sideboard Abrade, so we can evaluate objectively, empirically, if the sideboard Abrade was worthwhile. That's how that works, right? I will have you know, Marty, that I made that choice intentionally just so I could set that bid up to make fun of people that are bad at statistics. Herodias, thanks for the entire year. Yeah, let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. Welcome back. And it's a shame we didn't draw Velomachus there, shit.
Feel the yearning of the wild. Gather my children.
Reidane here, right on time. I'm happy with how we boarded. We'll just technically be on the play this game. Is our deck playing any cards that are nerfed in Alchemy? It's not, is it? It's probably a punt. Okay, so let's go Abrade the Tracker, attack for 2, cast Reidane off the treasure. They have a ton of 4+ mana non-creature spells. Okay, if we draw an untapped land next turn, we get to Velomachus pre-combat.
May your blade strike true. We must protect the people.
I think we just chill here. So I don't want to like play this and then have it die inside to like a removal spell or something next turn before we can attack with it. We're already ahead on board. Just like wait and see what they do. They need to spend mana to catch back up.
The entire forest is an army.
All right, chat, we're gonna end their whole career here. Fevius, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. So let's go ahead and copy this friend, and then we'll cast this Emperor. Keep this one, exile this. They don't get another token.
This
You
is
get to
what you
double
get for
block
hurting
here,
our
trade here.
Remember your training.
Invoke Justice. Just bring back Reidane, huh? Gonna get this up to a 7/7. Since it's not lethal anyways. This makes it harder for them to have a good double spell turn. Sweet. Solid first match. Climbing on up the ladder. Do 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 do. You want to hold on to Seismic Wave because they're likely a Wolf and Wedding Invitation deck. Okay, and then next turn we get to discard this and then bring it back with Invoke. We could top deck a Velomachus too and get to that going.
Get in, get out. Easy mission. I know something you don't know. Now, what do we have here?
My older two children are home from school today, and they keep poking their heads into my office and leaving the door open, letting all of my heat out. Black Flame, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. This is a Spellbinder Reidane matchup. Get some more threat density going on here. Abrade out for sure. Fateful Absence is probably fine. It's like a Cathartic Pyre out matchup. I guess this hits Planeswalkers. Means it generates some value. I need 4 trims. Definitely want to keep all of my threats. Yeah, I mean, our deck's, like, got this kind of powerful combo-y thing at the top end, but then we just got a bunch of, like, pretty reasonable Magic cards past that, which is nice. Maybe we don't need Absence because this hits Planeswalkers. I'll just, like, trim around the edges for the last couple here. Afternoon picks. Howdy, Jellyfish. Thanks for the tier 2 and thanks for the 2.5 years. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, I mean, this is like technically the nuts draw, right? This is the turn 4 Velomachus attack you for 9. Hermit's very annoying.
Powerful won't help. Now this is a juicy secret.
When I'm having the audacity to interact with us, chat. Who do they think they are?
I know something you don't know.
A nice pickup. We just go land pass now. So, Favonius, you did the thing people always do when I use the card recommendation command, and you told me what the card does. I understand the rules text of the card you suggested. The question that I asked you is, what problem does my deck have that's being solved through the suggestion that you're making? And that's not a question that you answered by telling me the rules text. But your suggestion doesn't give us more Reanimator without already having drawn it. And we already have Pastcaller here, which is a card that fills the role of being more Reanimator while also doubling as a card that we can actually be reanimating. And that's, in general, in my opinion, how you should be approaching deck building. You know, Magic's a game that there's so many different cards in Magic. You need to figure out a reasonable way to narrow down which cards you're playing and which ones you aren't. And looking for problems and trying to identify solutions is the best way to combat that, in my opinion. Would not be surprised to counterspell here. One thing to note about Kaido in a lot of these Esper decks is it doesn't actually reanimate, or doesn't actually ultimate anything particularly well. Oh, we're getting hived here. Gross.
I know something you don't know.
Huh? Just cast this to get a threat into play. If they can kill Pastcaller and exile it with Hive this turn, we're a little bit sad.
There's no secret I can't uncover.
Guess I should have picked up my deal a damage to everything card, huh? They elected not to bring back Hermit, so they could have a counterspell, but they could also just have, like, a Deadly Dispute here. Start here and see what they do. Trying to figure out what they would like to learn here. They've got a good chunk of cards in their hand here. They're gonna have to spend out quite a few in order to turn this into, I definitely messed up picking the Invoke Justice back up to my hand.
I will cull the weak.
Definitely should have taken my, my Seismic Wave back. Afternoon Jace.
I know something you don't know.
Thanks, dude. You close my door, already done? So they again both didn't elect to bring this back and also didn't elect to do this. So feels like a counterspell turn. Also just be another dispute though. They technically have 3 flying blockers here, huh? Feeling kind of dead, honestly. The board's super gummed up. I don't have a good way to cut through. Getting this back was such a huge mistake. We'd have way more play otherwise.
Do what I demand.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm happy with how I boarded. Seize the Spoils actually seems pretty mediocre into all of their counter spells, huh? Because you have to discard the card as part of the cost. So let's bring these more ways to interact with their planeswalkers and cut the cards that are bad against their counters. I'm gonna take the Saurian, because they could cast it next turn. And then we'll get to get Reidane down. Ozzy Thantos, thanks for the 35 months. Welcome back. Morning. I see people discussing discard spells in Reanimator decks. Like, the counterspell thing isn't even really strictly a Reanimator issue so much as it's a, you know, combo deck issue. That's pretty typical, right? Haba Hut, thanks for the 25 months. Welcome back. Another thing to note here, too, is just how many resources my opponent has to commit to holding up every single turn to have this Disdainful Stroke available to them. The standard format, every good. I think this is the best standard format we have had in a post-Fire Design world. I bet we'll see them grab the Exile, one of their things, exile one of ours to get rid of Reidane here. Oh, really? Teachings? Interesting. Okay.
You'll never see me coming.
Hey, I'm glad you enjoy the YouTube and the Unite stuff, Booshoes. I'm doing pretty well overall. Let's go ahead and get Wandering Emperor in here in response to this plus. This way, if they draw a blue land, they can't get her.
Thanks. I'll be taking that now.
Let's go ahead and KO this real quick here. I think I want to start just going up on my cards here. So this way, if they peel a Meat Hook Massacre,
We've got the edge in this fight.
they can't kill my stuff. At least not all of it. Oh, I guess with Shambling Gas, my Reidane is currently dying to that. They currently pay 4 for Meat Hook plus X is 3. Yeah, spending a Fateful Absence on a Shambling Gas is a pretty bad return, though. Especially when they theoretically have mana to, like, cast Loath this turn if they want. Oh, is Kaido a delayed trigger? I thought it just phased out at the end of turn. I thought we, like, hit end of turn and it was gone.
Come closer, little
Yeah, they have 7 mana to cast Loath.
We will slay our enemies.
I know, counting is not Twitch chat's strong suit. This unknown card a land? Because the treasure would let them
Aren't I jealous?
hold up Disdainful Stroke then. We have lethal. These have reach and this is flying. So no, not even a little.
I have got new moves to teach you.
Subservience will be rewarded.
They kill their planeswalker here. Should keep a land in hand for Windfall. Yeah, probably. I already have 7 untapped lands, so we can cast Velomachus. If I didn't have 7 already, and this is the tapped land, I'd probably want to put it into play. Yeah, I have Cathartic Pyre too. That technically lets me cycle stuff. This matchup seems pretty bad. Slag thoroughly ground us into oblivion this game.
Oh, it's on. May your blade strike true.
I think with the stroke staring us in the face, we're pretty dead there. Just go ahead and slide along to the next one. Well, this technically puts this into play untapped, but this is also a tapped land, so definitely more a little awkward. I assume this mana base is playing Snarls because you want to be able to invoke consistently, and quad white is definitely not free. If my opponent's deck isn't being interactive, we actually have the turn 4 Invoke Velomachus set up with this hand. Well, so Showdown is notably not particularly good Allure and Bug inside of decks that have lots of expensive cards. Is like casting a Showdown on turns like 4, 5, or 6 and then hitting a bunch of expensive stuff means you're not actually getting card advantage from it. We have an awkward number of 3 drops. Is 10 an awkward number of 3 drops? What does the math say on that? 10. 10 doesn't seem like an unreasonable number to me. Now it is a little awkward that we've already drawn 2 of our Emeria's calls. There's no targets for Invoke Justice here. Sedge. Clearly that means this is a no justice stream. Well, we already knew that, right? You have like a rate of whatever, rate of oblivion. Is my Velomachus destined for the exile zone?
Aren't I the generous one?
All right, so we have, this looks at how many cards? 7? All right, so we have 9 looks at a lethal draw here. Yeah, that's our lethal draw, champ.
Again, my power is for annihilation. I am merely delayed, not defeated.
I think the Emeria's calls out of them would imply that they're probably not Esper if they have room for at least 2 bolt lands. Bring in the Spellbinders. Probably a Reidane matchup too. They comment about a lot of 3s. I also boarded into more 3s in the slower matchup, which I don't think is an unreasonable thing to be doing. Like our game 1 deck has fewer 3 drops than our post-board deck has had in these games. That game was kind of an example of why people are splashing blue into the Esper decks. So their more mid-range deck can have a chance, to not just get run over. Just a little bit of discard. The Black Lotus bet meshes with the rest of the vibe of this game board quite nicely. Our hand's pretty redundant here, so don't really care if they take anything. Maybe they just take Windfall to like get rid of our ability to shift through things. I guess they could take Pyre if they have another cheap threat that dies to it. Could also just leave us with everything and play with the information. Survey says... That's a very reasonable conclusion for them. And with 2 lands drawn in a row here, I'm gonna go ahead and play this out, and we'll hold up the seat here as a Oh, that's interesting. So now I don't want a Seat of the Empire the Eye this turn because this technically has mana value 1 and they can pick it back up with this. So we can seat it this turn because the Revive chapter on the Eiganjo will have popped already. And another one anyways. Does Hoaglandia offer university credits for reading and math? Come on now. Let's not pretend like the Magic players watching are capable of passing a reading class. I mean, I have 2 Pastcallers, so like, is taking my Invoke even really doing anything? I guess it means I can't invoke them this turn. If you're looking for Magic accredited classes, check out Tolarian Community College. I think I want to absence their... Storko.
My children drench their hands in the blood of my enemies. Come, I'll tell you a secret.
I'll have you know, I'm 32 and can already read at a 1st grade level.
My will cannot be denied.
So you're admitting that you're above average for Magic player. God bless. Speaking of reading at a 1st grade level and getting yourself into trouble, over the weekend, my 6-year-old almost managed to delete his Bloons account on Bloons TD6 on his phone because he was just hammering through different menus in the game and found a button that reset his progress.
Run, but we will catch you.
And Christy and I hadn't written down his login for that game. And we only managed to salvage things for him because his account was also logged into Bloons 2 Battles or something like some other game that Ninja Theory makes. Or Ninja Kiwi makes. And then we promptly wrote down the login. So that wouldn't be in danger of happening again. Not that I think he would have remembered too though, because like he was thoroughly sad at the idea that he had deleted his Bloons progress. Because in addition to the, I don't know, probably like $50 in Android gift cards he's thrown at the game from birthdays over the years, he's also played it a crazy amount. I don't know that we beat this Legion Angel.
Subservience will.
They have a removal spell for the Pastcaller here. We're kind of in trouble. This could just be the clue. Cracking, holding their mana. He did have a Bloons themed birthday party. It's a popular game in the Hoagland household. Yeah. Guess I'm kind of surprised they haven't made. I guess they know about Seismic Waves, why they haven't made spiders. I'm kind of surprised they haven't made spiders to pressure us. We can just clean them out. Well, kinda. So, if mana is not a problem, we could obviously like outvalue them, Lakar. The problem is the amount of pressure Legion Angel is going to generate, in addition to what Revealing Eye is already doing to us. So it's not so much we're dying to it from a value perspective, so much as it's from a tempo perspective.
Do what I demand.
That'll do, pig. Alright, game 3 on the play, huh? I'm happy with that way, board A. Let's run it back. Run it back now, y'all. This deck seems alright. It doesn't have the same kind of big brain, feel smart gameplay as the Just Sky Storm deck we played last week, though. I'll play one or two more with this at least, but it definitely isn't tickling my I need to feel smart bit that I usually play Magic to feel. This is definitely much more of a here's my thing, do you have a thing to insert style deck. With no guaranteed third land, we're supposed to mulligan that. Sure. Sure. I'm gonna greed and keep a hand that doesn't do anything till late. We're on the play. Their deck's not super aggressive, he says before they play Aspirant on 2. Alright, guaranteed fourth land is great. You're in Platinum playing Mythic number 3 right now. Are you playing Alchemy? Yeah, it doesn't, that down pair doesn't surprise me in Alchemy. The Alchemy queues are super slow overall. We're gonna keep playing Alchemy on this channel at least a little bit because I enjoy the format from a play patterns perspective, but I don't think Alchemy has much of a future as far as formats go because Wizards refuses to address the inherent economical problems with it. And I would actually bet that the format's gonna become, the queue's gonna become even less populated when Alchemy Horizons releases this summer, making the format even more expensive than it already is. It's really sad that Wizards created this thing that's kind of sweet and then it's just gonna get completely destroyed by their non-functional economy. It's the economic problem. It costs too much money to play.
Are you enraptured by my beauty? Or do you fear it? Aren't I generous?
You know what? I should have just attacked them and assumed I was going to hit something to kill their planeswalker. It was bad on my part. No, Alchemy's not just rebalanced cards, Panda Sloth. Alchemy also has additional new cards printed into the format. So, like, Standard on Arena is already expensive to play, and then to play Alchemy, in addition to having to own all the Standard cards, you also need, like, another 20 rares and mythics. So, they did at least do you the decency of giving you the rebalanced copy of a card for free when you have the base card, but that just largely isn't enough. Yep, just completely run over here. Mike the Knight, thanks for the 56 months. Welcome back. I mean, obviously there's unplayable Standard cards, Tumos, but like the thing about the core of Magic Arena's economy is you don't get to choose which cards you open, right? So you're not getting to pick and choose if you're opening boosters and getting constructed staples or unplayable limited garbage. So 25 months, Jack. All right, we're going to get off of the topic of the economy stuff I don't want to complain about that anymore on stream. Also because like there's people like the one I'm timing out now that are just posting factually incorrect things, which is what always happens when we get into the nitty-gritty of it. So we're gonna move along now. Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna be done with this deck. This deck seems quite bad. Just like what we're doing seems only okay when we go off. Like that last game was kind of a great example of why our deck is kind of mediocre, right? Like we like had this thing that we were kind of attempting to do and like we did it and it still just like wasn't good enough. So this one definitely felt like a miss to me.